Welcome to the podcast. We're diving into the fascinating world of Black clapbacks and cultural wit, exploring, how shade became such a powerful tool in Black culture.
Mhm.
Right, it's like a whole masterclass where every witty jab carries layers of history, empowerment, and that stylish, clever edge. Exactly. Shade, as we know, isn't just about throwing insults. It's a subtle art. It's like saying so much with a glance or a well-chosen word. Yep. And what really caught my attention is how its origins trace back to survival in the face of oppression, like from the days of slavery through the civil rights era. That historical context just adds a whole other dimension, doesn't it? Oh, absolutely. It's like every subtle, clever remark is layered with resilience and cultural survival, and it's
Right.
about reclaiming power through language. For sure. And speaking of language, the book really breaks down how Shade uses not just words, but body language, tone, and even social media memes to create those epic clapbacks. It does. And then there's the idea of observation. We get that being an astute observer is the foundation for any good shade. You got to pick up on every little nuance, body language, tone, even the micro expressions that speak louder than words. Yeah, right. So developing this keen eye for detail is like training for a sport. You study the context, the historical background, the cultural trends. All these elements come together to inform a truly effective clapback. Exactly. It's like um, sharpening your wit. And then the text goes on to talk about timing and delivery. I mean, if you deliver that clapback too soon or too late, it just
Mhm.
falls flat. Timing is everything. It's all about catching someone off guard, ensuring that your response reaches the listener at the perfect moment to stun them with your cleverness. Yeah, it's like the punchline in comedy. If you mess up your timing, it's just crickets, but delivered right, it becomes legendary. Absolutely. And then we get into the different delivery styles, right? The quickfire comeback, the sassy retort, even the thoughtful rebuttal that offers more than just a zinger. Each style has its own place. Exactly. It's like tailoring your response. Sometimes you need that sassy, playful jab. Other times, the intellectual clapback really flips the script on your opponent, turning the tables. Right. For example, remember the historical clapbacks mentioned, like Lincoln quipping about his two faces. That's a classic example of using humor and timing for maximum impact. Yes, that example really stands out. It's like showing that even in the political arena, wit is a form of power. And then there's Queen Elizabeth I and Dorothy Parker, each using their wit to assert dominance and defy expectations. Definitely. Speaking of context and cultural references, there's a whole section on incorporating these elements into Shade so that it really resonates with your audience. How important do you think that is? Oh, it's crucial. I mean, using cultural references adds authenticity. When your audience hears something they relate to, whether it's pop culture, historical events, or even popular memes, it hits home. That's a great point. It's like making a connection on a deeper level. And the book even emphasizes staying true to your own voice. You're not just copying someone else's style, you have to blend in your own cultural identity and wit. Right. It's all about authenticity, knowing who you are and expressing it. Embracing your unique style of shade not only makes your clapbacks more genuine, but it also reinforces your own identity and cultural pride. Yep. And on that note, the idea of staying updated, following influencers, checking out current trends is emphasized. It's like for your shade to be relevant, you have to know exactly what's trending. Absolutely. In today's digital age, trends shift super quickly. Keeping an eye on social media platforms, following the latest memes, even reading blogs, it's essential for keeping your references sharp and your comebacks
Mhm.
even sharper. Yeah, and that leads into the practical exercises suggested in the text, like people watching, role playing, and even media deconstruction. These are all real world training sessions for your brain when it comes to crafting the perfect clapback. Exactly. It's kind of like a gym routine for your wit. You exercise regularly, practice observing, role play a few scenarios, and before you know it, you've built that mental agility needed to deliver those quick, powerful responses. Right on. And then there's the part on maintaining composure. I love that, taking a deep breath, assessing the situation, using humor, and maintaining eye contact. That's pivotal, right? Oh, for sure. You got to stay cool, even when you're about to deliver a knockout clapback. It's not just about the words, it's about the whole presentation. A little humor here, a dash of confidence there, And boom, you've asserted your stance without lowering yourself to negativity. Absolutely. You mentioned earlier the importance of understanding the power of observation for crafting effective shade. It's interesting how it's not just about being witty, but being perceptive too. Yeah, it's like being a detective. You got to read between the lines, pick up on every subtle cue, whether it's someone's crossed arms, a sarcastic eyebrow raise, or even the tone of their voice, to know exactly when and how to strike with your clapback. Exactly. And then the book pushes that even further by discussing how to turn all these skills into real world applications, practical scenarios, and case studies that make you practice those skills and see what works in a live setting. That's an excellent point. Real world scenarios are where theory meets practice. Think about it. You could have the most clever comeback scripted in your head, but if you don't have the situational awareness and timing, it just
True
won't
that.
land. Exactly. And then coming to the part about crafting the perfect clapback, that involves all you've mentioned: context, brevity, cultural references, and turning the tables. It's like creating a mini masterpiece with every response. Yeah, it's like a work of art. You have to mix wit, humor, and a pinch of irony. Plus, avoiding personal attacks is key, keeping it clever and smart instead of, mean spirited. Yep. Which reminds me, there's also that part on the different types of clapbacks: classic, subtle, humorous, intellectual. It really shows there's no one size fits all approach. You have to choose your moment and method wisely. Precisely. It's like having a toolbox full of techniques. Sometimes you need the quick fire response to shut someone down instantly, and at other times, a thoughtful rebuttal works better, especially when dealing with more complex issues. Absolutely, yeah. And yet, in every case, the underlying principle remains the same: using shade to assert dignity and offer social commentary, all while keeping it entertaining and empowering. Right. It's not only about silencing negativity, but challenging stereotypes and reclaiming narratives. The book makes it clear that wielding shade is also an act of empowerment, a way to fight back against systemic bias with humor and intelligence. Exactly. And that final chapter really ties it all together, putting observation, timing, cultural relevance, and crafting into one cohesive approach. It's inspiring, really. Yeah, it's like a roadmap for anyone who wants to master the art of shade. It encourages continuous practice, staying true to your authentic voice, and always remembering the cultural roots behind these clever retorts. Right, for sure. One thing I sometimes wonder, though, is do you think there's a risk of the clapback style being misunderstood? I mean, when does it cross the line? Well, that's where maturity comes in, right? The book advises us to avoid personal attacks and ensure that the shade remains clever rather than hurtful. It's about self expression and empowerment without tearing others down. I get that. True. It's a delicate balance. You want to reclaim power and make a point without compromising empathy and respect. Exactly. And on that note, the advice to sometimes choose not to respond at all is as powerful as any clapback. Walking away can often be the best way to maintain dignity and control. Yep, absolutely. In essence, Shade University is more than just a manual on wit. It's a cultural exploration that empowers individuals to navigate a complex social landscape with humor, reflection, and style. Precisely. It reminds us that language is a weapon, and when used creatively, it can be a tool for resistance, community building, and celebrating identity. Right. This journey through shade really feels like a call to action, encouraging us to keep honing our skills, stay culturally aware, and continue expressing our truth with that undeniable flair. Absolutely. So, for anyone on their own shade journey, take these lessons to heart. Observe, time your words carefully, stay connected to your cultural roots. Yeah, definitely. And let your authentic voice shine through every clever retort. And with that, we wrap up our conversation on the masterful art of shade. Thanks for joining in on this deep dive into a world where cultural wit meets historical resilience. Thanks for listening, and keep that wit sharp. Until next time.